Welcome to the Explosive Strength Podcast with Jay Bidney. Today's episode, we're going to go over how I would program people that do hit the relative squat percentages that I want. And we're going to talk about jumping height correlated with squat speed at certain meters per second. So anyway, here we go with another episode of the Explosive Strength Podcast. So got this question. Hey Jared, I'm loving the new podcast and the YouTube videos. However, this has spurred me some more questions that I have for you. I know you deal a lot with high school and college athletes, and your main focus is getting them to run faster 40s and jump 40-inch verticals. Yes. How do you program for guys that can jump a 40-inch vertical and squat 1.9 to 2.1 times body weight at 6 meters per second? I know you mentioned that you don't need to squat as much once you hit those numbers, and they don't need a dumbbell to jump as much. Okay, let's attack that. I've not had anybody squat 1.9 times their body weight at 6 meters per second. I think the highest recorded, maybe a 1.87 meters per second, but the guy also jumped a 45.7 inch vertical. He was running a 4.7 flat and 40-yard dash. And so for him, once he has that 1.87, even you got these people that squat 1.76. So this guy squatted 1.76 and he ran a 4.57, but he also jumped, his ratio was a 1.76, but his vertical was a 41.9. So his ratio for him at 1.76, I had another guy at a 1.76 run or 1.72, he ran a 4.55 and a 4.5 flat at a pro day, which was hand timed. So my cat just jumped up on the table. So now you got this other kid here. He squatted 1.65 and he ran a 4.8 140. You got this guy over here that squatted 1.45 times body weight squat at 6 meters per second, and he ran a 4.59. I mean a 4.95. Sorry. So the 1.9 times body weight and a 2.1 times body weight. When I talk about that, I actually found it the other day. That's actually a PubMed study that was done years ago. And what it stated is, and this was done on Division II college football players. So not high school athletes, not middle school athletes, not professional, and not D1 athletes. But nonetheless, they're athletes playing football at the Division II level. And what it said is the athletes that squatted 2.1 times their body weight were significantly faster than those who squatted 1.9. So the 2.1 was significantly faster than those at 1.9 times body weight. So for those of you, you take all those ones that squatted 2.1 versus all the ones that squatted 1.9, the 2.1 we're going to beat them. But what I was finding out over years is that we were getting high relative squat percentages. So like I had a guy squat 3 times body weight, which is much higher than the 2.1, but he was not getting the fast 40-yard dash like we needed. So what I did was I was reading some more stuff and I found characteristics of elite sprinters. Well, 5% body weight, 2.5 times, like the people in the Olympics are squatting about 2.5 times their body weight. So then I realized the limiting factor for most people is we have to get that strength up to a higher relative percentage. But once we got that strength to 2.5 to 2.7, and some kids at 3 times body weight squatting, they still were not hitting the faster 40-yard dash times. So what I did over time is I said, okay, well, we have this characteristic, so we don't need to squat more to get it. We're something else. What's our limiting factor? And I'm trying to figure out what our limiting factor is to produce more force. Why are we not? And so then I started tracking squat speeds. And so, Jared, I've gotten stronger. Why am I not getting faster? And so a lot of times you heard us, we talk and we squat with a Tendo unit. And so I've got here listed relative squat speeds, and I did them all in the 0.6, although all our sets and reps are not always done in the 0.6 range, 0.64, 0.60, 0.62, 0.60, 0.61, 0.61, 0.60, 0.65, 0.60, 0.60, 0.64, 0.60. And so what I try to do is figure out over time what the ratio is. So this kid squatted 1.59 times his body weight at a 6, and that yielded a 4.8 340-yard dash. This other kid squatted 1.65 times his body weight, and he ran a 4.8 140-yard dash. This kid down here, he squatted 1.25 times his body weight, and he ran a 5.11 40-yard dash. And this kid came into the gym the other week, and he swore up and down he ran a 4.7. I said, no way. I said, no way. And so I said, I got his squat speed. His squat ratio was a 1.43. And I said, there's no way that you run a 4. I said, you'll probably run a 5.07 to a 5.12. And he looked at me like I was crazy. I said, look, I'll give you a free shirt, a free hoodie, or whatever you want if you run a 4.7, even if you run a 4.8. And I said that even at a 1.43 that low, you're not even gonna hit a 4.9. And he just thought I was nuts. And so I said 5.07 or 5.12. He actually beat me because he ran a 5.05 at his best. So he did beat my 5.07. But he squatted 1.43. Remember, I said earlier, the kid that squatted 1.45 times his body weight ran a 4.95. And so once I know this kid squatted 1.72 times his body weight, ran a 4.78 40-yard dash, squatted 315 at 0.61 meters per second at 183 pounds. So, and he jumped a 36.2-inch vertical. Now this other kid, he ran a 1.29 times his body and a 5.15 and a 5.17 40-yard dash. So I've got, if you're watching this on YouTube, I've got sheets and charts of how I've got it all. I just don't have it very well organized. I didn't put in an Excel sheet to give me a plus or minus system or whatnot. So I'll try to go over this a little bit more later and talk really about what true speed training is. Once we eliminate the limiting factor, if we're squatting 1.7 times our body weight, if we're not close to a 4.7, 4.6 40-yard dash, what needs to happen in the gym in order to get these numbers to compute right? So I'm going to go over this later, but we've not had that 1.9 times body weight versus 2.1 times body weight. That's PubMed. So if some of you want to dig that out and read about it, you can. We don't have to squat as much. Yeah, we don't have to squat as much once we hit 1.7, 1.6 times the body weight, because that's not what's limiting us from getting faster. And so I will have them squat, but it's not near the program or near the intensity. We're squatting just to kind of maintain that strength level because we have that characteristic. We don't go grocery shopping and put the eggs back if we need all these eggs to make cookies. No, we hold on to the eggs that we have. We don't try to get more and we don't try to get rid of them. We just try to hold on to that, and then we go around the store and we pick up. All building athletes is just like making a recipe for cookies, pizza, whatever else you want to cook. And if you can think about that analogy, once we get that characteristic of they're moving that squat weight at that relative speed, or so if they're squatting 1.7 times their body weight at 6 meters per second, remember the characteristic of the 1 point times body weight at certain rate of speed should equal a certain speed to 40-yard dash. And once we get that, we don't have to, there's no point pushing them to a 1.9 times body weight squat at 6 meters per second. Squatting more at that point, we're killing time in the gym trying to get our squat higher and higher and higher. But at that point, that's not what our limiting factor is. So we squat right there just to maintain, maybe just keep them on a slower progressive system to where we're not going up as fast as we normally would. We're just keeping them there so that they're squatting and they're not as taxed from squatting, so we can go around the gym and search for the exercises that are the limiting factor for getting that speed result. Okay, we don't have to dumbbell jump as much, no, because we can work on reactive jumps, like jump on a box, jump up off the box and land again, or hurdle jumps or anything like that, because once we have that characteristic of that 40-inch vertical, we can maintain that even if we didn't jump for 2 weeks. So there's no point in continuing to hammer that. Then these kids, if they have the 1.7 times body weight squat, if they have the 40-inch vertical, they have earned the right to go do various things in the gym, because those various things are what's going to help them continue to excel at their sprint speeds. And we'll go over this later because I talk about this. I make people faster at the 40. I don't make them better. And I know this question coming from Chris. He wants me to talk about how do we keep our hand down on the 40-yard dash. We'll get over that when we kind of jump back into these times and things like that. But a lot of these times and stuff, we're just getting over there running the 40-yard dash. We don't sit over there and we don't practice on it. The only time I would practice on it is if I was training someone to get ready for the NFL or their college pro day, or if they were having to go to a college showcase. But it's not really important with a college showcase because they're not being laser timed at their hands, so that's not that critical. I will sharpen and trying to change up their start stance for the 40-yard dash so that they are getting optimal times when they go to these camps to beat the other kids that may not know. You know, just trying to help these kids get a scholarship, do things that they want to do. And so my job is to help people, and I'm trying to break all this stuff down so that we can figure this out. So I had another kid, 1.72. This kid was a 1.71, and he ran a 4.59 40-yard dash. So these squat speeds and sprint times have a lot to do with it. And these 40-yard dash times are not me sitting over there sharpening their 40-yard dash net, not working on their start, not working on their first step, not working on this. This is all sprint speeds because they got stronger and moving weight at a certain relative speed. So, Chris, we don't have to jump as much because we can go focus on other things because we've got that 40-inch vertical. We're out jumping 99.9% of the population. And so we may do dumbbell jumps just to maintain or keep that focus. But at that point, we've already got that. We've got our butter. We need to go get our sugar in order for maybe get some chocolate chips or whatever else you want to put in your cookie recipe. This is kind of like playing golf. The more irons you have in your bag, the better you're going to score. You know, if I'm just hitting driver all day, I get my 40-inch vertical, and I got my 40-inch vertical, and I got 1.7. So I basically have a driver and a putter. I'm not going to do very good at golf if I have those two things. I need to go pick up some more clubs, maybe some wedges and things like that. So hopefully that helps. Last question. I do not have a 45-degree hyper. Do you think the between the leg pull-throughs would be a good substitute to help strengthen the hip extensors muscles that will help to improve the broad jump? I had a girl, and I'll do a video for YouTube on how we do our 45 hyper. I actually have my 45 hyper beefed up so that we can handle heavier loads. Chris, I don't think the pull-throughs are going to be the stimulus because of the center of gravity differences. I think where the stress needs to be, maybe back extensions or hyperextensions, where you're kind of the old traditional, not the reverse hyper, but the normal hyperextensions, or I call them back extensions, where we're on the GHD, GHR, whatever people want to call it. We round down and we extend out, loading the bar with putting a bar on the back. Because I see a lot of people, let's use a med ball, let's use a 25-pound plate. That's not enough stimulus. I had a girl doing 95 pounds on the 45 hyper. She was mid 7'2", 7'3". So she was doing reps at 95 pounds, or max was 95 pounds. It was so long ago I forgot. Then once I took her from a 95-pound 45 hyper to a 135-pound 45 hyper, she went from a 7'2", 7'3" broad jump to an 8'4" broad jump. And so then I started experimenting with other kids. I had kids reach 10-foot broad jumps, 10.5-foot broad jumps, 10.6, 10.6, 10.3, 10.4, somewhere in that range. Without broad jumping at all. So maybe I have seen people that when I first started, if they did trap bar, their broad jump would go up 6 inches in the first month. But I did not continue to test and monitor it after that. I knew that if we did the trap bar, that it could help our jumps better. But also at that time, I was also using the 45 hyper, and I would change the angles of how it was done. So I have seen the 45 hyper directly correlate to the broad jump as far as because I'm testing each month. And so I know when we're doing this improves. When I take this out, this does not improve as much. So if you cut someone in there, they jump an 8.2 broad jump. If you come in 45 hyper, they're jumping a 9. You take 45 hyper, they may jump a 8.10 or 9 for 2 months if they don't do it for that amount of time. But I don't think pull-throughs where the center of gravity is enough stimulus. I think maybe, like I said, back extensions. You can try good mornings. Your risk to reward ratio on that, who knows? So, Chris, if you have any more questions, or if any of you out there have any questions, please email me. You can text me if you have my number. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these podcasts short so I get this information out there. We'll go over this sprint stuff because this really bothers me a lot, because people think they just want to go work on their speed drills, work on these drills, work on these drills, work on these drills. Remember, it's easier to get a technical change. It's so much easier to show someone how to start in the 40-yard dash than it is to get them stronger. These kids don't want to squat. Most people don't want to squat. Hey, so if I can go to a place that they're going to run fancy speed drills to where I don't have to put a bar on my back, oh, that's what I want to do. You may go, if you run a 5 flat, you may go from a 5 flat to a 4.8. But that 5 flat, you know, like this one kid squatted 1.76. He went from a 5 flat to a 4.57 gym record as far as complete laser timing system. With squatting without any technical change at all. And some people videoing them running, and the people are like, how does he even do that? You know, if you look good and you run slow, that's not cool, because if you're going to a showcase or a combine for a guy getting ready for an NFL, if they feel good and they look good running, but that time's bad, I don't care how good they look, not going to make it. And so, wouldn't you just rather have someone with crappy running technique? Look, how the hell, oh shit, look what he ran. That's going to be so much more impressive when you actually see what their physical time is versus how they feel their time should be, or whatever it is with their feelings nowadays. You know, so many people have feelings that it don't matter if you feel good. I'd rather feel like ass and run a 4.540 than feel great and run a 4.940. You know what I'm saying? So you got kids, I talk about this all the time on the podcast. They come in, they don't want to run the 40. They feel bad. They don't do the, oh, Jared, not today. Can we do it next time? No, we're going to get this done today. And guess what? End up breaking the 40-yard dash record. Sometimes they come in, they feel great. Hey, Jared, I feel great today. We're going to run crappy times. You know, it's about what numbers show up on your timing system, on your Tendo unit, on your tread sled, or whatever, and however you're manipulating their time to track these numbers. You know, we're not going to the gym guessing. I know, because I've seen it so much. Now, if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. And so I have no qualm with that. It's I either do or I don't. Yes, no, black, white, it is what it is. It's either yes or no, it's a 1 or a 0. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Hey, please share these podcasts, YouTube videos. We'll do a 45 hyper video and how we do it. YouTube, Explosive Mechanics, Instagram, Explosive Mechanics, Twitter, Explosive MBC. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great